Hey girl, welcome back to another episode of Rock That Fitness with Anna Rockstar. Welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for your dedication, for being so loyal to listen. Cannot appreciate it enough. I don't have enough words. You know what I mean. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being just so patient with me as I am embarking on this journey of putting my podcast out here on a YouTube channel. Always seeking to improve and do better. So I hope this has been helpful to you. Today's episode, I'm going to be diving into some reasons that we're not making progress or that we're frustrated with our weight loss efforts or efforting towards weight loss and we're not seeing the results that we want. That's what I'm going to be talking about today. A lot of different things in here. I'm sure that you're going to, remember that I've talked about this over and over many different times. But you know what? One of my favorite mentors told me is that once is never. And I hope that there's something in here. Maybe you've heard it many times, and maybe today it is going to actually really speak not just to your mind, but to your heart and make a difference for you. So let's dive in. All right, that was the first part. Now, that was my intro, but here we go. We're live, not live. We're videoing, and here we go. Today, I want to talk about the way that I'm gonna go over this topic is I'm gonna just have a discussion with you. I'm gonna talk with you, real talk. Obviously, I'm gonna share some just nuts and bolts, real stuff about the actual things that we're doing or not doing that are holding us back from wanting to lose fat. I don't like to focus on the word weight because you and I both know that everything is weighed when we step on the scale. And inside of Rock That Fitness, we don't focus on the weight. If you're going to focus on the scale, obviously you need to be focusing on the overall trend over time, not that one day or the fluctuations that are happening daily, because we have fluctuations daily based on what's going on inside of our digestive system, how much water we're carrying, a lot of different factors going on when we step on that scale. So we don't focus on that. We can daily weigh and keep data and take a look at that over time, right? But the goal here for us at Rock That Fitness, for me as a coach to help you, is to help you start seeing your body in a way that is just really the longevity of it all, the health span, how healthy you are, how strong you are, how fit you are, so that you have a long, not just a long life, but a long, healthy, strong, fit life. You want to have a healthy lifespan, right? That's the goal. And when it comes to losing weight, I'm talking let's lose some fat. And why? Because it's the best thing for your health, really, overall. If we're obese, if we're carrying excess weight, that naturally translates into not being as healthy. So if we can focus on those kind of things, we're going to have a better setup for reaching some goals that we never thought we could reach before. So I'm going to talk about it as in fat loss today. All right, let's talk about this. This is the biggest issue, and it comes down to what the biggest issue is when it comes down to losing fat time and time again is being in a calorie deficit. It's all about understanding that energy balance. And I know we've spoken about this over and over and over. Once is never. We're going to talk about it again because we are continuing to train ourselves in what we believe and what is the facts and what's the truth, right? It's all about energy balance. And energy balance, when we talk about energy balance, we do have to talk about calories, because calories is a unit. It's a measurement of energy, of a unit of energy. That's what we're talking about when we talk about energy balance, is calorie balance. So if you're eating more calories or you're consuming more calories into your body than your body is burning, then you are going to have a surplus of energy stored on your body, a surplus of calories that are going in that your body hasn't burned. And that's how you are in a surplus, and you're going to be gaining weight. You're not going to be losing weight. Or you may just be in a balance where the amount of calories that you're consuming is the same as the amount of calories that your body is burning. That would be maintenance, right? And we know that there's nothing is accurately imperfect, right? But we're talking about in general over time, the trend. And if you want to lose fat, you must be in a calorie deficit, which means you must be taking in fewer calories than your body requires to maintain your current weight. Bottom line, science, evidence-based approach to fat loss. And sometimes people go, yeah, but do I have to count calories? No, you don't, but you still have to be in a calorie deficit. Does that make sense? You don't have to count calories, but you still have to be in a calorie deficit. An example, let's say you don't count calories, but there's one thing that you remove from your diet every single day that you take in every day. Like, let's say that every day that you don't change anything else about your diet, but because you drink 2 regular sodas a day, you decide to remove those 2 sodas. We're talking about 400 calories. You remove those 400 calories a day, you are definitely going to see fat loss over time. Okay. So you see, that would be putting yourself in a calorie deficit without actually tracking your calories. And you can do that in a number of ways. But the point I'm trying to make is that you have to be in a calorie deficit to lose fat. You must. Okay. You have to be. And here's the thing. This is the reason why I'm inspired to talk about this topic is many women get very frustrated counting, tracking calories, tracking and trying so hard to do all the things, to eat healthy, exercise, work out, and they're frustrated because they're not seeing the results that they want. They're not seeing fat loss. They're not seeing inches lost, or they might be focused on that scale, and that scale isn't going to give the entire story. And that's why I'm inspired to talk about this today. We must be. And theme, I think the overall theme of this message today is about being not just honest with ourselves, which that is a big theme about this, but being accurate with ourselves and what's really going on. And I am going to talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to talk about a lot of things in this episode. But the main 5, I'm going to talk about 5 main reasons that we are not reaching our goals. We're not getting the results and we're frustrated. I'm going to talk about 5 main reasons. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of reasons, right? But I'm just going to talk about 5 of them. And then I'm going to share with you my own what I know is happening with myself when I decide for myself that I want to do a calorie deficit, that I want to go into what you want to call a mini cut or whatever you want to call it. When I put myself in a calorie deficit and I'm not getting the results that I want, I'm going to talk with you and share with you how I know what's going on and what I'm doing or not doing that is resulting in me not getting the results. Okay. So let's go ahead and talk about these things. These are just going to be the nuts and bolts of it, but I'm going to kind of give a little bit of some explanation in each of these 5. But the first one I want to talk about is number 1, we do tend to underestimate our calorie intake. Okay. So what I mean by that is we think we're not taking in as many calories as we really are. Okay. And you can find this easily if I asked you, if I said to you and you haven't been tracking calories, you have no idea how many calories you're consuming, you just have an idea and a belief in your mind about calories. And I said to you, let's calculate what a calorie deficit is for you, based off of your stats, your weight, your height, your gender, your activity level. And I go, okay, based on this, we're going to give you a starting calorie deficit, and it's going to be 1,800 calories based on all the information you gave me. And I'm a nutrition coach and I'm a personal trainer and I've done this. I know these things work. So if I gave you that and you had no clue, I can't tell you how many women will be shocked. And they're like, oh my gosh, 1,800 calories. I can't eat 1,800 calories. First of all, that's too many calories to eat. That's too much. I can't eat that much. And also, if I eat that many calories, I'm going to gain weight. And funny thing, most women who don't track their calories and have no clue how many calories they're eating are probably eating way more than that on a daily basis on average. So the thing is, when we put ourselves in a calorie deficit, or we're tracking and we're trying to be in a calorie deficit, oftentimes we are under tracking calories. This is one of the number 1 reasons why you're not seeing results. And let's get a little bit into this, like why? Because we may be guesstimating calories rather than actually measuring your food, exactly measuring your food on a food scale, or maybe it's a package and you didn't really pay attention to what the calories were. You're just guesstimating, or you're just eating out of a package and not paying attention to the nutritional value of what the nutrition label says. Hidden calories, a lot of beverages that maybe you're not paying attention that have calories, alcohol, sodas, juices, these have calories, and condiments, ketchup and barbecue sauce and all the condiments and salad dressing and things like this. And going out to eat. When we're going out to eat frequently or however often you're going, let's face it, we have no idea really. We can guesstimate, but this is exactly why we're frustrated, because we're going to end up underestimating our caloric intake when we go to the restaurants, when we go out to eat, or we stop at a fast food place. Even if you look it up on your food tracker and it says, you bought this at this restaurant or this fast food place, and this is the calories, still, what's on that? What is added to it that you didn't track, that you didn't add in there? The cheese, the mayonnaise, whatever it was that wasn't part of the tracking in that food tracker. And also, alcohol is another one. It's another one where people underestimate. They tend to, maybe they over pour, a glass of wine, or you're just not tracking your alcohol at all. All right. And that alone is a huge deal. And what happens whenever we overindulge in alcohol, or even just any, one or two drinks of alcohol, usually is going to lower our guard. And we're also going to end up, so first of all, first of all, those are going to be empty calories. They're not giving you any value, any nutritional value. They're empty calories. We know this. I mean, and what happens is, right, you lower your guard and you end up eating more or even drinking more because you've already lowered your guard, and you end up drinking more. And then we don't want to face it. We don't want to face the truth. Because we're not measuring correctly, and we're not tracking because we're afraid. This is a big deal now. I hope that you listen to this one, because I think this is very, very key. I've seen this and heard this so many times. Women are afraid to track. They're afraid to track for fear of how many calories they ate, or they're just not going to track it because they don't want to see it. And it's interesting to me. This kind of is the same thing as standing, like you don't want to step on the scale because you don't want to see the number on the scale, and it doesn't change the weight. Now, whether you track your food in that food tracker, you track your calories in that food tracker, or you don't, your body is still tracking those calories. Your body is still tracking that energy that you're putting into your body. Nothing's changing just because you didn't track it. It's still, your body's tracking it. Trust me, your body's tracking it. The same thing with standing on that bathroom scale to track your weight daily. If you're afraid of it, what are you afraid of? Because your weight isn't going to change whether you're standing right there on the floor or you're standing there on your scale. Your weight is still going to be your weight. So we really need to address this idea that we're afraid. We're afraid. What are we really afraid of? And let me just say this. That fear is unfounded, and it's unfounded because the question is, what is the belief here? It's your mind trying to protect you from something. Anytime you're having like a fear, a reaction to something in fear or anxiety, you have to know this, okay? And I'll probably be talking about this again and again. It's so important to understand that what's happening with you when you're experiencing anxiety and fear. And it doesn't matter what it is. It's kind of funny in a way, because we live in a modern world. We don't have anything really to be really afraid of. Fear is really a way of your brain protecting you, keeping you safe from harm, safe from dying. And you're not going to be hurt by knowing how many calories you're eating every day. And you're not going to be hurt, harmed, and you're not going to die from knowing what the weight is on the scale. Now, you may have an emotional reaction seeing these things, but that's a whole nother issue that I'm going to talk about a little bit towards the end of this episode. So if you want to really get, I guess we should say, knowing the truth is actually going to set you free. Knowing exactly, it's not exactly, it's not going to be perfect, but really being more consistent with tracking your food accurately and knowing how many calories and not going over that set amount of calories on a consistent basis. Now you're going to be knowing. So really, if you don't know how many calories you're taking daily because you're just kind of estimating, guesstimating, you're just kind of loosey-goosey tracking, these kind of things are really the problem. It's the main problem, really, because how do you know? You can't change what you don't know. You can't measure what you don't track. You can't make any adjustments at the end of whatever period of time you have set for yourself to be in a calorie deficit. And then it's basically pointless. It's pointless. I mean, I shouldn't say it's completely pointless because you're still learning, right? Because you're learning that, well, let's get accurate. Let's get more honest with ourselves. And this is the truth, and I'm going to die on this hill. The truth always sets you free. Even if the truth is scary, it's going to set you free. This is the reason why I say, you know what? Track everything for a while. Don't even put yourself in a calorie deficit. Let's get honest and accurate with our food and our food choices and our drinks and everything that we're eating. But remember, this is a big one. This is number one. And if you are having difficulty because you're going out to eat all of the time, then let's find a solution to that, because that's probably holding you back. And I know for myself, when I put myself in a calorie deficit, I should back up for a second. When I was going through my own personal fat loss journey in the very beginning, I personally chose rarely to go out to eat in the very beginning for months. And it's not that going out to eat is bad and it makes you a bad person, but I wanted to be more accurate. And I knew that by going out to eat, I was going to be guesstimating more. So it's your choice to take the power back and decide, I don't want to go out to eat. I'm going to cook all of my food. I know that's not realistic long term, but if you're serious about a period of time, that's your choice. And or go out to eat and don't, choose wisely something that for sure pretty much what the calories are. And that's a whole nother topic in itself about how to go out to eat for restaurants and eat in a way that you have a pretty decent understanding of how many calories you're taking in for that. So what is the solution to this? Well, tracking your food accurately means that you're going to be weighing, measuring your food. You're going to be tracking it inside of your app. You're going to be tracking all of the food that you eat all day long for days. And this is going to help you become more aware of your actual intake. And that way you can know you can make adjustments over a period of a week. You accurately tracked everything that week. Now, instead of being all wigged out about one day or another in that week, you can look at your average and see, and now you can make some adjustments. And it's not just based off of one day or a month of just being inaccurate. You really can't make changes unless you have accuracy here. So here's the second one, another one. Being inconsistent with your adherence. This kind of goes hand in hand with the tracking accurately of your calories. So, and here's the thing, the more weight you have to lose, the more leniency you have. So basically, the leaner you are, the less weight you have to lose, the less wiggle room, pardon the pun, the less wiggle room you have when it comes to adhering to your target calories. You just don't have as much room to be out, to be eating over your calorie deficit. And I can speak to this, and I will in just a minute. But this is a big problem, adherence level. And some people are going to set out and they have big goals when it comes to their fat loss goals. And there isn't anything wrong with this, but you've got to manage your own expectations of what you desire for yourself. Like, what's your vision? What is your vision for your body? What is your goal ultimately? And based on that, you got to know that if you really want to get lean, cut, muscular, defined, you're going to have a higher level of adherence. And it's for some people, they don't want that. They might want to be cut, defined, have that athletic fit appearance, but they don't want to put in the effort to do it. Like, we've got to get really brutally honest with ourselves. And I'm honest with myself and about this too, because sure, it's nice to be, I personally like the aesthetics. Not everybody cares. I like it for myself. I'm not here to impress anybody. It's something that I personally like. So there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, I'm like, if that's what you want, understand, if you really want to be defined, cut, you want to have the definition. All right. You want to be shreddy spaghetti. You got to adhere more tightly to your program, your plan. So manage your expectations, right? So if you are going to be inconsistent with tracking, and you're going to be loosey-goosey tracking, or you're going to be making sure that you've been in your calorie deficit on average every week around 80% and not closer to 90%, then let's manage our expectations. We can't expect, I know you've heard this, you can't have A results when you're only putting in B or C or even D effort. That is the bottom line. That's just the facts, the truth. And there isn't anything wrong with one or the other. Some women get to a place where this is their happy weight. They are not unhealthy in their weight, okay? They're at a healthy weight amount, but they're not cut. They don't have that athletic appearance, but they're still healthy. They're still fit, but they may not want to be so adherent for a long period of time to get this cut athletic appearance, aesthetics. They're happy with their body right where it is, and they're enjoying their desserts, more desserts on a regular basis, more going out to eat, but yet they're still managing right where they want to be. And this is all about managing our expectations of what we desire for our body. So if you want, you have to say, what do I want? Am I willing to put in the effort to do it? If you're not, then you have to be honest with yourself and accept the situation. Manage your expectations once again. So inconsistency, that's number 2. If you want to know how accurate, how consistent you're being when it comes to tracking, then you want to be tracking your tracking. How consistent are you being? Track your tracking. We do this inside of RTF. I do this with my clients. We do this with the clients. Get a calendar, and every day when you've tracked accurately to the best of your ability, then track that as a star. Gave myself a star. I was accurate today. I tracked it all. Okay. Same thing every day. And then on the days that maybe you went over, okay, you're consistently tracking, but you also are knowing exactly what you're averaging. You actually have accurate information, but you can track on a calendar. Okay. You can put a heart for the days that maybe you went over your calories. And so this is a way to track your consistency, and you can look back over your calendar and you can see, okay, I had 5 days out of the whole month where I went over my calories. Now, this is also going to matter, like how far you went over your calories. This is about being honest with ourselves, because if you're going way over your calorie target on a calorie deficit multiple times over the month or over the week, you may inadvertently be putting yourself in maintenance or even surplus, because you're not really tracking. You're not staying within your parameters for your program, for your plan. So you may not be as consistent as you think you're being. That's the point. That's the point with number 2. You're probably not as consistent as you think you're being. It's all kind of in your mind. Like I've seen this many times. It's like a diet mentality where somebody will think they've been in a calorie deficit forever and they're never getting any results. But the bottom line is they haven't really been consistent. I will ask, how consistent have you been? And they can't tell you. Well, I've been 80% consistent. How do you know? 90% consistent. If you want to reach a certain goal, then you have to be accurate. You have to put in the effort. And if you're not putting in the effort, then manage your expectations. When we can do these things, we won't be so frustrated because we're just being honest and accurate. And there's nothing to be frustrated about if you just know the truth. The truth sets you free from being frustrated. You'll be amazed at the difference too. So what you want to do is you don't want to aim for being perfect. I mean, some people want to be perfect, and that's great. Eat your broccoli and your chicken and your rice every single day. Never have any dessert. Always tracking when you're on the go, on vacation, on your holidays. Never going outside of any of this, like 100%. But I'm going to say this right now: that's not healthy. How is that? I mean, it's not healthy mentally because most of us, that's only going to last so long. And then you're just going to go off the deep end. I'm just going to be like all the way to the other side and say, throw in the towel, forget it. I can't do that anymore. Right. I'm not saying that's not happening. There are people who really are, but that's like a very finite number of people who are actually being that accurate, that quote unquote perfect when it comes to those kind of things. But allow yourself. I believe in allowing ourselves an occasional treat and a balanced approach. And you're going to need to find that balanced approach for yourself. And the way to do that, right, is to be tracking and seeing what's going on with your body and how your body is managing the calories over time so you can make adjustments. And then you just will know. So plan your meals ahead of time, plan your snacks ahead of time. These are the things that are going to help you stay consistent and accurate. All right, so move on. Number three. Number three is a big one. I love this one. You're not getting enough protein. So many women are not getting enough protein. Most people don't get enough protein. It's very interesting to me that very interesting. I can ask somebody, are you getting enough protein? Are you getting plenty of protein to maintain muscle mass, to stay satisfied in your meals throughout the day? These are the two big ones, right? To maintain your muscle mass, your lean body mass, and also to stay satisfied throughout your day, especially if you're in a calorie deficit. But anyway, most people don't know how many grams of protein they're eating. I'll say, are you getting enough protein? Oh, yes, I'm getting plenty of protein. I eat chicken and fish and tuna and beef. I'm getting my protein. I am. And then I'll say, but do you know how much protein you're eating? And they're like, not really, but I know I'm getting enough because I eat protein for lunch and dinner. I'm getting protein. All right. I'm going to say this. This is the very honest truth. You may be getting protein. That's great. But more than likely, you're not giving your body optimal amounts of protein, enough protein to maintain your muscle mass or even build muscle mass if you're trying to build muscle. And especially if you're trying to stay consistent in your calorie deficit, you want to make sure you're getting plenty of protein, because if you're dieting in this calorie deficit, number one, you don't want to lose body mass. You don't want to use body mass. You want to lose body mass. You don't want to lose muscle mass. And you want to stay satisfied while you're in your calorie deficit. Two big reasons to be making sure you're getting plenty of protein. So you don't want to lose muscle. You don't want to have muscle loss, and you don't want to have this increase in hunger. It makes it a lot harder to stick to your calorie deficit. So you want to ensure that you're getting protein at each of your meals: lean meats, fish, eggs, dairy, beans, legumes. And you want to make sure that you're getting this like plenty of protein throughout your day. Breakfast, you can call it breakfast, meal 1, meal 2, meal 3, and in your snacks. And you're going to find, even if you just didn't do anything else and you started to increase your protein, you would see a huge difference over time. It makes a big, big difference. And a lot of women are frustrated with their calorie deficit not getting results because they're not eating enough protein. All right, next one, lack of sleep. I could talk all day long about how important sleep is. And sadly, most of us aren't getting optimal sleep. You could get quote unquote enough sleep. And again, I have a podcast episode all about sleep, and it's very thorough. It has a lot of great information. If you want to get excited, inspired, and motivated to make sleep a priority for yourself, which I highly recommend that you do, go take a listen to that episode. But this is it. Poor sleep is going to negatively impact you. It's going to impact your hormone regulation of hunger and your metabolism, which increases your appetite. and then it decreases your energy expenditure. So if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not going to be moving around and being active. So you're not going to be expending as many calories, just naturally burning calories. But the big thing here is lack of sleep is definitely going to throw you off when it comes to your hormone regulation. And that is the hormone leptin and ghrelin. So you're going to have an increase in ghrelin, which is going to cause you to feel hunger. But what you really need is rest and sleep. This is a big one. I cannot emphasize it enough. So you want to establish a regular sleep wake cycle if you can. Try to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep daily, and try to keep this regular even through the weekend. I know that's boring, Anna. On the weekends I want to stay up late. I want to. I'm not saying don't ever do that. I mean, come on, y'all. I'm pointing to myself. The last 3 weekends in a row. Oh my goodness. I have definitely the last 3 weekends in a row lost a lot of sleep because I had shows and I was staying up way, way past. Did not get enough sleep for 3 weekends in a row. So that's not me calling the kettle black or the pot black or the calling whatever. Country boy would probably laugh at me because I never get these sayings right. But anyway, yeah, we got to get enough sleep. And I will tell you, I too experience the same thing. And I get enough sleep and I'm like, well, it's no wonder I'm just hungry and I want to eat everything in sight and anything and everything. And nothing is satisfying me because I'm not getting enough sleep. So that's not helping me with my personal maintenance goals. All right, next one, number 5. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one because I want to get into my own how I know when I'm not making results, when I'm not getting results. I know why. I know exactly why, and I'm going to tell you why in just a second. So, not enough physical activity is another one, but I'm going to say this one, kind of like not heavy-handedly because truthfully, it's not as big of a deal as the part of really dialing in your nutrition, because the problem is the issue here talking about how much physical activity you're getting, I'm just going to caution you that if you are exercising and working out so that you can lose weight, you're just going about it in a way that is going to cause you to spin your wheels. It's not the way to go. You want to lose fat, you got to be in a calorie deficit. Now, physical activity is going to help you, especially, and this is the one I am going to drive home when it comes to physical activity, strength training. Because strength training is going to help you to maintain muscle mass, and it's going to help you build muscle mass. And what is the big deal with muscle mass? I mean, we know we're losing muscle mass, ladies, especially if you're in menopause or postmenopause. We are slowly losing muscle mass and strength over time. So we need to get that boosted up. And not only that, as we are losing muscle mass, you know what's happening? Besides the fact that you're getting weaker, your metabolism is decreasing because having muscle on your body requires calories to exist. Your muscle mass on your body needs energy, needs calories just to be alive, just to be sitting there on your body. Okay. So if we're losing that muscle mass, guess what we're losing? We're losing our body's ability to just burn calories at rest, to just sitting here with muscle mass on us. And we are a burning furnace with this muscle mass on us, right? So strength train. Get your strength training in. Get on a program. Get in Rock That Fitness. Join us. Get on one-on-one coaching with Coach Abby and start your strength training program with us. And I'm not saying strength training is not just pull up a strength training workout online or YouTube it. No, a structured plan is important when it comes to building muscle and getting stronger. And you need to be working out strength training a minimum of 2 to 3, maximum 4 or 5 days a week, but we recommend at least 3 days a week. And we do have we also have four day programming, 4-day splits in Rock That Fitness. But yeah, you want to. So it's going to help you maintain, activity is going to help you in your maintenance, especially when you do finally reach your goal weight. Activity is going to be one of the things you want to keep doing because it helps maintain. Study after study has proven that staying active is one of the key components to maintenance once you've lost the excess weight that you want to lose. So yes, you don't want to rely solely on physical activity, right? For your fat loss, but you do want to boost your metabolism by strength training and getting your cardio in, walking daily, moving. Move your body, girl. Move your body because your body was meant to move. We were not intended to sit like this, like I am right now. No. And I'll say, like, all the desk jobs that I've had, I knew that I needed to get more activity in my day and I made it happen. So we got to make it a priority. We weren't intended to just sit and be sedentary and sit and watch TV and sit on our phones, not on your phone, but sit and scrolling on your phone, or sit here and do an hour podcast. That's not what our bodies were intended for. So we have to be very intentional and stay active. So you want to incorporate cardio for your lung and your heart health, not cardio for losing fat. Okay. Cardio for your lung and your heart health. And you want to strength train to build muscle, maintain muscle mass. And when it comes to cardio, like, just a recommendation, 150 minutes, moderate intensity, zone 2-ish, throughout the week. So you can divide that up however you want throughout the week. And like I said, strength training. I highly recommend strength training 3 days a week. I really do. It's something that I've done. And by the way, 3 days of strength training versus 4 days of strength training a week, one is not better than the other. Really, the bigger deal is that, are you hitting all of the main muscle groups every week? And does it fit in your schedule? Are you able to be consistent? That is the key, even with the strength training. Okay. The goal is not, should I do 3 days a week or should I do 4 days a week? The question is, which one can you stay most consistent with? Okay. You want to do that one. And I've been so consistent with 3 days a week. People are usually pretty surprised. Like, Anna, you only strength train 3 days a week? Yes, just 3 days. It doesn't take hours in the gym like people think. It just doesn't. I used to think that. I used to think, oh wow, people who are strong, muscular, athletic, wow, they spend like hours and hours in the gym. And really, that's not true. I mean, sure, it's true for the person who that is what they do for their sport, bodybuilding, that kind of thing. But in general, most of us, we will benefit by leaps and bounds if we are doing 3 days a week strength training and consistently. The reason you're not getting results with your strength training, getting stronger and building muscle, is probably the same reason why you're not losing fat. And that's not adhering, not being consistent. So, all right. I hope that was helpful in there. I think a lot of it is stuff that I repeat all the time, but I think it's great reminders. And this is for all of us. If we want to lose fat, let's not be frustrated. Let's get accurate and honest with ourselves and understand that the problem is, I think most women don't realize the high level of adherence that is required to actually make it happen. It's not like it's not, what's the word I'm trying to say something here. It's not easy, but it's simple. That's what I wanted to say. See, I couldn't even pause this now because I'm on video now. Yeah. All right, I couldn't pause it. Yeah. It is simple, really simple principles. And simple is sustainable, I always say. And it's true. Because believe me, girl, if it wasn't simple, I wouldn't be able to sustain it. I need simple. And I make everything that I do as simple as I can so I can be consistent. I hope you do the same. But yeah, let's not get frustrated. The reason that people get frustrated is because they're doing all these things, but they're not being as consistent and they're not putting in the effort to get what they really want. And now let's talk about that for a second. I'm going to talk about that. Actually, let me back up. I'm going to talk about my own, how I know personally. So when I set out on my own personal fat loss journey, when I did that for the last time back in 2017, and I say that because I'm not out on a fat loss journey anymore. I'm on my fitness journey. This is a lifestyle now. And that's one of the key things to understand, is that when you are on a fat loss journey, yes, there's effort. There's a lot of effort that goes into it. I mean, you are putting time into tracking your food. You're putting time into preparing your food, planning your food ahead of time. All these plans, preparations, tracking. It is effort. I'm not going to tell you it's not. It's effort. And it's going to continue to be effort. But it does get easier. You get better at it. You get better at it, and it becomes more second nature, and you won't be having to track for life. You are going to get to a point where it is just something you do, second nature. It's something you do. It's just part of your life. And that's where I am now. But back when I started, yes, it was just as much effort. And I knew that for me personally, it was all about my nutrition. That was frustrating for me, and I allowed it to be frustrating, but we don't have to. We can choose not to be frustrated. Find ways not to be frustrated. Frustration doesn't have to happen, it's a choice. You can just be honest with yourself and manage your expectations and get honest and accurate and do the thing. And it's going to be effort the rest of your fitness journey, because fat loss actually is very simple. You can do it. And you can lose the fat. So many people lose fat, lose weight every single day. So many people can do it. Everybody can do that. But what's hard, what's not easy, what takes more effort is when you finally do reach your goals. And I'm not trying to scare you. I hope you do, because it is really the best. It's the best. I love it. I love being in maintenance. I love living my fit lifestyle. You will get there, girl. Get there. You will. But that is also very, very challenging. Okay. I don't stay lean, cut, shreddy spaghetti year round. I don't. I stay pretty lean year round, pretty lean, but I have my fluffy times. I feel like I've started being in a fluffy time again now, because I know why, and I'm going to tell you why. And I'm not beating myself up about it. I manage my expectations, and I'm very honest and accurate, and I know myself. I'm going to tell you what's going on when I am in a calorie surplus and feeling fluffy, seeing the fluffiness in the mirror. Really, it's in the mirror. I see it. And I'm one of these people that I prefer, like I said, I prefer to be more lean and have a more aesthetically defined look to my body. That's me. That's what I want. I'm not going to apologize for that. I like it. I like it. I love it. I love the music. And I want to do this. And I'm going to keep doing this. But I don't always stay shredded spaghetti all year. Okay. And here are the things that I find when I'm going to do a mini cut. Basically, here's a few things. Let's just talk about this for a minute. Let's just real talk. I'm not going to be on a calorie deficit in a mini cut all the time. I'm not. That's just not healthy. You don't even want to be in a calorie deficit long term. You better be taking some diet breaks, because your body is going to fight back on you. Your metabolism is going to drop, and it's going to adjust to that low calorie. And so you don't want to do that long term. Okay. Your metabolism, it's not going to break, but you're going to, if that's you and you've been calorie deficiting for a long, long time, and you feel like, nothing's happening, well, probably need to get yourself back into maintenance slowly over time and readjust and get your body into a healthy state of maintenance with your calories at a healthy place. I'm not going to go into that. But the point I want to say is that I'm not going to be in a calorie deficit year round. I'm enjoying food. I'm eating at maintenance most of the time, sometimes in surplus, inadvertently, not on purpose. But here's the deal. I know that if I'm going to go, I say, all right, I'm kind of looking fluffy. And I ask myself, well, where are you at? Where are you at, Anna, in your life right now? Well, is this a good time? I mean, I think sometimes people make that as an excuse. So don't make that as an excuse, because there's never really a good time, especially if your health is at risk and you really need to lose fat because of your health. That's one thing. Okay. Don't wait. Don't wait another day, girl. If your health is on the line and you need to lose fat, then let's do it, girl. Don't wait another day. But I'm talking about shedding a few pounds for aesthetics, right? And I'm thinking to myself, I know the effort, I know the work, I know that for me, because I am basically at a healthy weight, I have to be extra super duper diligent and meticulous if I want to lean out. It's it is work. And I know the effort that goes into it for me to get shreddy spaghetti. And I don't want to put in a lot of times I don't want to put in that work like all the way to shreddy spaghetti bodybuilding across the stage. That's not me. I'm not doing it. Okay. I'm not saying never. I'm not saying never, but I got other things that I want to spend my time on. And that's the thing. We have to decide. So like right now, okay, I'm gonna tell you where I'm at right now so we can just get real talk going on. Seeing myself a little fluffier in the mirror right now. Yes, you can see my muscles, whoop-de-doo. My aesthetics, I see like I'm not as defined as I would like, but do I is it like a deal breaker? No, I'm still enjoying my life. I'm still happy with my body. I love being strong and fit and not being as lean or cut. It's not bothering me because that's not who I am. I am not my body. My body serves me. And we have to get past that, looking in the mirror at our bodies in an ugly way. Your body's a wonderful, amazing, phenomenal piece of work that carries you through this life, girl. We need to get past how our body looks and celebrate what our body does for us. So, being in this place where I celebrate what my body does for me, I celebrate how strong I am and I feel and I celebrate the energy, the stamina that I have because I eat healthy most of the time and I'm putting in the effort to stay strong and healthy and fit. But if I want to get into a mini cut right now today and I look at myself like, is this a good time? I don't know. I don't know that right now is a good time. And if I'm not sure that I can devote the dedication to it right now, I'm just going to stay in maintenance. Okay. Because right now, in case you don't know, I'm not an empty nester again. I have a baby bird back in the house. This is taking a lot of mental energy. I'm happy to do it, delighted, so excited to have the opportunity. But I'm being realistic that that's taking some mental energy. I have some things going on. We're in the middle of a launch. We're about to be doing 6 weeks of small group coaching with the 6 week challenge of these ladies that joined us for Rock That Fitness 6 week challenge, which I'm super excited about. And that's going to take up a lot of mental energy as well. So living my daily maintenance, I do these things on a daily anyway. I'm still very much aware of my food intake. I'm very much aware of and I am consistent. And if I'm going to have chocolate one night, I'm going to do it up with the chocolate because y'all know I have my box of chocolates sometimes at night. And I don't go overboard, overindulge crazy like that. But I do know that I'm probably having more calories than I need to have right now in my body, especially because the other part, I've got a baby bird at home, but I'm also not putting out as much energy right now because of my knee, my wonky knee, which it's getting better, y'all. It's getting better. Don't worry. And I'm hopeful that I'm going to get back to my normal everyday activities with my knee. But right now, realistically, I'm not putting out the same amount of energy. So that's taking away mental energy. There is a little bit of emotional stuff there too. I'm not going to lie, but I don't focus on that. I recognize my sadness for not getting to run right now, but I direct that mental focus onto what I can do and not get all caught up in that. But that's something too, and yes, so I am monitoring my intake because my calories, my energy output has decreased based on my knee issue. But oh, one of the things I think I missed. Uh-oh. Hold on, back up. I'm going to look back at my notes because I think I missed something. No, okay, it's not in my notes. I'm bringing it up now. This is another point that I didn't bring up here. When we have a lot of stress in our life, this is another big, big deal. I know I was going to put it in there next to the sleep. That's what it was. Not getting enough sleep and rest. This one is really big, and I notice this, and I think as we're aging, ladies, we really need to pay attention to this. We can't just keep on doing super duper over intense training, a lot of exercise just because we're trying to lose weight or keep off the weight, because we're really shooting ourselves in the foot by doing that, because that's stress, that's added stress. And when we are stressed, our body is not going to be as efficient. Our metabolisms are not going to be as efficient when we're stressed. And we've got to find ways to relax and chill out. And actually, it's crazy. I've experienced this myself, even when I'm running. If I run, intensely more when I was in my running routine, right? I have found if I've backed off on my training, I've been able to shed fat a little bit easier. It comes off a little easier. And if I'm training hard, thinking I just need to train harder, we have all done this. My body tends to cling, hold on to added water, hold on, not going to lose. No, my body's like, oh no, we're stressed. We are going to hang on to everything, girl. That's what happens. Just keeping it simple to understand. So I know that for myself, right now is probably not the best time for me to get myself into a calorie deficit, but I know that I need to pay attention because my output is not as much, right? All right. So when I do decide that I'm like, I'm going to do a mini cut, I get excited about doing a mini cut, but I know in my mind when it's the right time. And again, the right time is for you. When is the right time? There's always, it's never, I need to go back to this point where like starting your fitness journey, starting your fat loss journey, this is separate from that. This is a different concept. I'm talking about me and where I'm at. But if you have been putting off taking care of your health and your fitness for a long time because one thing after another keeps getting in the way, that is an entirely different conversation. And girl, there's never a right time, a good time. Now is the time so you can do it. Get it done. Get started. Don't wait another day. The more you wait, the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be because yes, the time is not going to be coming back. We got to take advantage of the time now. All right. So when I do decide to do a mini cut, I get my plan. I know what I'm going to do, set my calories, get ready to do this. And I'm in a focused state in my mind. And I know that for me, because I don't have much fat to lose, I really have to hold myself to a high level of adherence. And so I'm paying close attention. When I get started on this, I look at the calendar for the next 30 days and I see, oh, that's going to happen on the calendar. Oh, I'm really going to be losing a lot of sleep that weekend, we're going out of town for this. So being realistic and managing my expectations is very important. I'm going to be going out to eat a lot. Is this a great month for me to have very high level adherence? Maybe not. But if I see that, oh, you know what? This is going to be a great time. I can do this. I will. But even if there is that stuff happening on the calendar, that's not a reason not to do it because I could still do it. And I have done it, even with all the things on the calendar, even with holidays. I've done it. So it can be done. It's all about your mindset. What you believe you can do, you can achieve. It's true. What you believe is what you can achieve. So the point being, I get started on my calorie deficit. If I am not making progress after 3 weeks, then I know based on what's been going on, the data, why I'm not losing. I'll know exactly why I'm not getting results. And here are the reasons I know I will not be getting results. If I'm overtraining, if I am eating too low of calories for my body, because my body is just like, no, and don't, there's no, that's not the starvation theory. That's a whole different thing. That's not true. That's not true. I'm talking about me and my body and where I'm at. This is why one-on-one coaching is so great and so important. So if you're like me, as far as your physique and you want to get dialed in more and you really get one-on-one coaching, that's enough said there. Ask me about it. Get on a call with Coach Abby. It's either that I've been loosey-goosey with my calories. I haven't been tracking everything as consistently and accurate. It's all the same things that I talked about. I'm not putting in the effort required, the high level adherence to get my goals. I'm being honest with myself. I don't have a problem stepping on the scale and logging that data every single day. I don't have a problem with that. So I know stress, poor sleep, overtraining, low adherence to what I need to do with my calories. So working harder is not the answer. Okay. Working smarter is. Because if working harder was the answer, well, we could all just work harder, get more workouts in, but that's not the answer. We got to focus on putting in the effort to really dial in our nutrition what we want. But again, I'm always going to say, you got to decide for yourself. You do you. Maybe you don't want the highest level of adherence because you don't want to miss out on happy hour cocktails or the margaritas with your girlfriends, or you don't want to miss out on, I don't know what it is for you. And so having that high level of adherence is not as important to you because you're happier enjoying these things, then manage your expectations. No, you're not right or wrong. You're not bad or good. It's just you choose your adherence level to be at a lower level. And that's okay. But just expect it to take you longer. That's the other thing. It's just going to take you longer. You can still do it. Stay consistent, right? You're still going to be in a calorie deficit over the long haul if you're still putting in the effort. But the effort is where it's at. How much effort are you going to put in? So when I backtrack to my own fat loss journey, the reason I was able to attain my fat loss of 60 pounds and get strong and fit in a matter of 18 months is because I had a pretty high level of adherence, but I could have done it in a shorter period of time. Honestly, I could have, but I enjoyed several weekends partying it up. I had alcohol. I had the drinks. I ate the desserts. I enjoyed my holidays. But in hindsight, it's like maybe I wouldn't have reached my goal at 18 months because maybe I would have burned out being super strict. So we've got to find the balance that works for us individually. Um, I hope that helps. I hope all of these points up. I know I've kind of gone long here, but it's definitely a conversation that needed to be had because I don't want to see you frustrated, for months on end, trying to lose fat and it's not happening. We got to get honest with ourselves and really the closer you are to your happy weight or your goal of recompositioning your body in some way that you have envisioned in your mind, the closer you are to that, the more accurate, meticulous, and higher level of adherence you're going to need to have. And that's just the bottom line. That's the truth. I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm not here to sugarcoat things and make things all, oh, it's like that. No, this is the truth. The truth's going to set you free, girl, every time. So what I want to end on is I talked a lot about all the things to do, actually implementing, taking action, doing these things, do, right? But when it comes down to doing these things, I know there's a lot of frustration because maybe you've been doing these things for a while and then for some reason, boom, you're not doing it again. And you're slowly on that slippery slope going back to the old ways. And you just get frustrated with that because you're like, why can't I just stick with this? What is the issue? Because we cannot rely on willpower. We cannot rely on motivation. We have to rely on discipline and forming habits. And these things happen when we become more aware of what's going on in our thought processes. Because your behaviors, all these things that you're doing, right? You're tracking your food, you're preparing your food, you're doing these things, you're doing. All these behaviors and actions that you are doing and taking action on, they all come from a place of how you feel, your emotions. And your emotions and your feelings come from your beliefs and what you think. They come from that, their thoughts. So let's do it backwards. Let's do it the other way around. This is just so worth mentioning. And it's like, you cannot say it enough times. We have to constantly remind ourselves because this is going to impact every aspect of our life, not just health and fitness, but everything. How we interact with people, how we live our lives, every action, every behavior that you do is based on what you believe. So your thoughts create and stir up your emotions and your feelings, and those emotions and those feelings are going to create your behaviors and your actions every time, all day long. So what we need to do is become more aware of our thoughts. And I'm going to just give a little example of why this is so important. It's what you believe. If you show up to a party, but you're in a calorie deficit, and you believe that being at a party around a bunch of cake and cookies and alcohol, and you believe in your mind that you are weak and you cannot handle being there and you're just going to have to give in. If you believe that, then you're going to feel out of control. You're going to feel like I can't control myself. And you're going to give in. And then your behavior is going to do that. And then it's going to be this vicious cycle. So we have to become aware of our beliefs, and we have to ask ourselves, is that true? Because we are our own worst enemy, and we're always self-sabotaging based on these awful beliefs that we've had for years that are holding us back and keeping us stuck. This is the bottom line. What are you believing? If you say to yourself, I don't know why I keep on backsliding, falling off the wagon, whatever wagon that is, getting off the tracks, then let's ask ourselves, what is it that you believe about whatever it is you're not doing? What are you believing about it? What emotions are getting stirred up about that? Let's analyze that. And then we need to start working on, is that true? Is that true? Because if it's not true, it's time to rewire that thinking, reprogram that thinking. And that's another episode all in itself. But we got to work on those things. Journal about it, talk about it, be surrounded with community and supportive, encouraging community. That's what we do inside of Rock That Fitness. Women with like-mindedness, like-minded goals, being all around that, because those are the things that are going to help rewire and program our thinking. And thinking about these things and focusing on what we want and not focusing on the past. Focusing on what we want. Showing up to that party and saying, I want to show up to this party not focused on this food. I'm focusing on the people, and I want to leave this party feeling great about my choices. So I'm going to choose certain things, or I'm just going to have one dessert. You already planned ahead of time and you believe that you're going to be successful. These are the kind of things. This can go on and on. The point is, your thoughts create your emotions and feelings, and those feelings and emotions are going to create your behaviors and your actions. And this is huge. This is very huge when it comes to developing our habits and our behaviors for life. And that's what I want for you, girl. I want you to be mastering your emotions, because if you believe, this is again, and there's another episode in here if you want to go looking for it and go take a look and find the one about limiting beliefs, and you'll see, because there's so many of them that we've believed for years. If there's something holding you back, I guarantee you there's some kind of belief that you have that's limiting you, and it's not true. Always asking yourself, what am I believing about this? Is that true? You've got to challenge your beliefs. And when you discover that it's not true, you can start changing it and believing the truth. And the truth is always going to set you free. All right. That's pretty much all I got for you. This is a lot. This was a long episode. I really hope that there was something in here that was helpful to you. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me once again. Haven't seen any ratings or reviews in a while. I haven't said anything about it, but if you would take a moment and just leave some feedback or send me a message somewhere online, I would love that. It would be such a big favor to me, and I could spread the word, and this could help somebody else too. If this was helpful to you, I would love to know, what did you get out of this? Was it helpful? Is there anything in here? Or maybe you have questions. Reach out to me. And I would love to hear from you about it. So that's it. Keep taking care of yourself, girl, and do it for the long haul, and do it for you. All right. We got to stay strong and rock on.